Let's get to the bull-bear debate. Our bull is Mainstay Capital CEO and Chief Investment Officer David Kudla, and our bear, Forrester's Multi-Asset Portfolio Management Director, James Macey. David, as our bull, let's throw this out. Right now, her plane has either landed in Strasbourg or she's about to land. I'm talking about the Prime Minister of England, UK, Theresa May. There is a sticky and very sensitive situation going on there. We don't know what's happening with the China trade talks with the U.S. So what is behind this propellant that you have toward a bull market and to get into U.S. equities?
Well, the segment or the tape that you just rolled on Federal Reserve Chairman Powell says a lot, and it is the change in direction or the change in their message since the beginning of the year. The Fed is back on our side, and not only do we have economic indicators that are still showing signs of strength. We might have some slowing in the economy, but that's caused the Fed to be on hold, to be patient with further interest rate rises. At the same time, the economy continues to do okay. We had a retail sales number this morning, 1.2% growth, very good retail sales number. We had wage growth on Friday, the best in 10 years in some of the lower level employment sectors, the best since 2007. So we've got some great numbers coming through. Let
me bring in the bear, who's bearing his claws, even though he's very calm and British, of course. James, exactly, let me just take what David just said. Jerome Powell says we're the best house in what looks to be a touchy market at the moment, and we're talking about the whole planet slowing down, except for the U.S. Why would you tell your clients to get out of U.S. equities?
Well, Liz, it's always tough to be an equity bear when the stock market's up. So, so I have my work cut out for me today. But to me, there's two things really that are concerning to me. First of all, complacency and uncertainty. Those two things are the worst things for markets. When I talk about complacency in the market is measured by volatility, it was very suppressed until the fourth quarter when volatility picked up.
Yeah, you're talking about the long-term VIX, the volatility index.
Exactly, and the VIX was the most volatile in that fourth quarter period since the third quarter of 2011. So we saw a sell-off, a very rapid sell-off of 19% in a very short period of time. The second is uncertainty, and uncertainty perhaps is the worst thing for markets right now. So whether there's uncertainty about how the wall is going to get funded by President Trump, what's happening with China, let's not even talk about what's happening with Italy and Spain with 15% and 11% unemployment.
So where are you putting your money? And let me go to David first and say, if James is right, it is 10 years that we're in this bull market. At some point, does it not stumble?
At some point, it will stumble, but there's no rule that says just because we're 10 years into this bull market. And again, it depends how you measure that, because we've had almost a 20% technical definition of a bear market just in the fourth quarter and a few years before that. So it's really about how we measure it. As far as complacency, for the past few years, this has been one of the most hated bull markets in Wall Street history.
Yeah, true.
And we haven't. The market's not complacent, not when you're down 19.5% in one quarter, and not with a week like last week. There are a lot of very nervous investors out there. They are not complacent. This market is climbing a wall of worry.
James, where are you putting your money, if not in the U.S.?
Yeah, and I would counter that. So we did see a 19% sell-off, but then we saw an 18% rebound. So I would argue that the complacency is back in. And what data really has changed in this period of time? So it's not that I hate equities. Obviously, some equities make sense in a multi-asset standpoint. Like? Well, within equities, I would prefer higher quality equities with bigger moats, higher in the market capitalization spectrum, probably moving away from small and mid caps.
But not U.S.
Well, U.S. equities do have a role, but the market has gone up 168%. That's 9.4% annualized since the end of the crisis. And I think a lot of people, there's a negative wealth effect that really scares me right now, where people look at their fourth quarter statement and they see their 401k and their brokerage accounts down for the fourth quarter, and then if we get a potential slowdown in the house prices as well, now all of a sudden feel and are less wealthy, that'll stop them to spend, and that's going to be a concern.